back to the channel. You already know what it is. It's Ron, time for Wrench-a-holics, and today we're finally gonna install the new front load control arm bushings as well as the front load control arm ball joint. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Pretty much just prepped it out. You burn out the bushing and you clean the inner sleeve out, and then also you pop out the old ball joint, and then also give a quick little clean out on the ball joint mount right here. So we are good to go. There it is, fresh, we're good to go. So we can go ahead and install these ball joints pretty quick and simple. So let's get to it. Alright, so here is the front load control arm, and this right here is the new bushings. It's the Energy Suspension 7.3114R. Pretty much comes with new bushings, front, back, whichever way you want to see it. New inner sleeves and the install lube. So now all we gotta do is install it. And for the guys who don't know how to install it, it does come with instructions. So again, you can't get it wrong unless you can't read. Then we got some other problems. But pretty much all you gotta do is make sure that you put these bushings in the right location. It says in the instructions. So this is my right lower control arm, the front one. So pretty much the bigger of the two bushings, which is 3429, goes in the rear of the car. So obviously if this is the front, we're facing forward, then this would be the rear of the car. And then the front obviously would be 3252, goes right here. So we're pretty much almost there. Again, what you're gonna do is you're gonna compress these two. You can squeeze them, they're pretty, it's not that hard. Squeeze them together, and once you get that done, then you're gonna slide the inner sleeve in. It comes with lube, so obviously use it because it makes the job a lot easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now, and then I'll show you the finished product. Alright, so first we're gonna go ahead and grab some lube, and we're gonna lube up the inner sleeve of the low control arm. So we're gonna go ahead and just lube it up right here. Don't be frugal, be generous. Again, makes it a lot easier. And beforehand, you're going to want to make sure that you clean this inner sleeve out. So I just used some fine grit sandpaper as well as like a wire brush, and I just pretty much cleaned the inner sleeve out to get most, if not all, of the remnants of the old bushings out. So there it is. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put the old the new ones in. This is 3429. Again, this one goes on the rear of the vehicle, or towards the rear I should say. So go ahead and lube that up right here. And then going towards the front would be the smaller of the two bushings, 3252. Again, you're going to be doing some lube. I just want to make sure that once you get the bushing in, that you compress it as much as you can. It's pretty much going to be a flush fit. Alright, so pretty much this is where you want to be right now. That's what it looks like. Brand new installed. From there, slide the pin in and you'll be good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and same thing applies. We're gonna lube up the pin and then install. I should say inner sleeve, not pin. I think I can use my vice grip. Yeah, let's use that. Alright, so we're going to use the press. Makes it a lot easier. Again, work smarter, not harder. I put a towel on the back end of the press because that bushing will be resting up on the press, and press the inner sleeve in. So again, make sure you lube it up. Makes it easy, and then you just go ahead and compress. Alright, there you have it. Brand new, installed and inserted bushing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the next side, and we'll be good to go on this one. Alright, now that we got the front load control arm bushings on, we're going to go ahead and move over to working on the front load control arm ball joint. Now, pretty much what you're going to want to do is get a ball joint press. You can get it on AutoZone. Comes in a set, so pretty much all you got to do. The hardest part about doing this is just setting it up to make sure you have it correct. So first, just think of it as a big C-clamp. That's all it is. And pretty much as you compress, you're going to be pushing the ball joint in, and then you'll have a cup that will receive the ball joint, and then you'll be good to go. This board right here so that the ball joint can go through, and then you can fully seat the ball joint on the front load control arm. So we're going to go ahead and set this up. I'll show you how to do it. First you're going to want to do is open the package. Make sure you got everything. You should have a, if anything, the minimum would be a C-clamp or a C-clip and a new cotter pin. Some may or may not come with a fitting, so if yours doesn't come with a fitting, don't worry. You just got the model that doesn't have a fitting, and some do. If you have the one that comes with a fitting, I suggest you don't put the fitting on just yet until you get the ball joint in. We're going to go ahead and set it up and make sure everything's good to go. Alright, so this is the new ball joint. It's already pre-greased. What you want to do is you want to take this boot off. What this boot is actually going to be sitting like so on your new lower control arm. So you got to take it off. And the next thing you want to do is you want to find like the pusher part of the press. Make sure that it'll push the ball joint forward into your new lower control arm. The next thing also you want to do is you want to put like a stop on it from here. You want to make sure that you get the right size. So what you want to do is make sure that the front little control arm, the mount, you got to get a big enough circle so it's just as big, a little bit bigger than the diameter of the where the front little control arm ball joint goes. So you want to make sure you get the right size, just a tad bit bigger, and then once you get that done, you put the top portion of the C-clamp on it. So it'll be like this. So if you look at it, it'll be this, the pusher part. Your ball joint goes into the cup. You got this little spacer here, and then you got the top part, and this all goes into the C-clamp just like that. So think of it as it pushing, and then it's sitting into your front little control arm. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it up, and then we're gonna go ahead and drive it in. Alright, so I got everything set up. Again, this is the the pushing part of the press. You got your backstop, then you got your bushing right here. You got your inner like cup so that the bushing, so that the ball joint can go through, and then you got the actual outer cup. Now what we're gonna do is just try to compress it down and make sure that it fully seats straight onto the front little control arm. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna show you the finished product. Cool. Alright, so I got it. I'm going to show you how it's supposed to look like once it's fully pressed down. We're going to back this out and then disassemble everything, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so here it is. This is the new ball joint pressed in. Again, the main thing here is that you want to press the ball joint so that the bottom lip of the ball joint is flush with the lower portion of the lower control arm. And then from there, you can also tell that you did it right. You should see the groove here. That groove is where the new C clip is gonna go. You want to make sure it's even. So basically, just press it all the way forward or all the way down. Make sure it sits completely, and from there you're good to go. Don't forget to install your new dust boot. Once you're done with that, your front load control arm setup is good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the new C-clip on. I'll show you guys how to do that. It's as simple as getting your C-clip remover tool. In the last video I showed you guys what it is and how to use it. So pretty much all you're gonna do is you're gonna get your new C-clip. You're gonna want to expand the clip. Expand it. Once you expand it, you want to sit it and make sure it goes into the groove. This is what's going to lock the ball joint from falling back down when you put it on your car. So make sure that this seats correctly. I can't stress it enough, it's for your safety. So make sure that the clip is fully seated within the groove on the ball joint. Make sure that. Okay, so I'm going to go do that right now and then show you what it looks like. Ball joint fully seated. Again, make sure it's flush with the surface. There's a lip on that ball joint. You want to make sure it's flush. And then from there, you'll see the groove for where the C-clip goes. You want to make sure that that groove is fully above that flat surface of the upper portion of the low control arm. The reason why is because you got to put that C-clip in. I can't stress it enough. It is very important you get the C-clip in and make sure it's secure. Because this is the only thing that's holding this ball joint from falling back down, and you don't want to do that, and you don't want that happening to you when you're driving. So make sure you make that thing sit within the groove above the lower control arm surface, and make sure it's nice and secure. From there, all you gotta do now is install the new dust boot like so, and you're good to go. Again, if yours came with a fitting on the bottom, don't press the ball joint with the fitting because you're gonna destroy the fitting. Just make sure that you put that fitting back on, because then obviously you'll have a hole in the bottom of your ball joint, and then all your grease will fall out. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is, since we already have this dust boot off, I'm just going to add a little bit more grease just into this crevice right here, just to make sure it's all fully greased up. Again, I know I have a fitting on the bottom. We're going to be injecting grease with the grease gun through the bottom, but just for now we're just going to add a little bit more grease here, and then we're going to go get that grease gun and shoot it up with some grease. Alright, so this is the fitting that comes with the ball joint. Again, it's got some really fine threads on there, so you don't have to go ham on it. You don't want to cross thread it. Make sure it sits perfect, or else you're going to be having to fix these threads. And from there we're going to get a little wrench. Hopefully I got the right size. What are you, metric? Standard? Wow, it's standard. I don't have that. Trash. Alright, but anyways, make sure you just fully seat it. Don't go ham on it. You're going to mess up the threads. And from there, you're all good to go. I put on the dust boot. Just put on the castle nut just so you can protect the threads. And you guys are good to go. Here's the finished install. Got new bushings. Got new ball joint. Gonna go ahead and do that on the other one. And get back to you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, so here it is, the finished product. The 25mm extended front load control arms by Street Faction. We got brand new energy suspension, bushings, and also OEM style replacements for the ball joints. I'll leave all the links in the descriptions below. If you guys are in the process of replacing old and worn out parts or upgrading, so if you guys need that, they're all below. I did the homework for you guys, so you don't have to worry about it. Next on the list is figuring out what inner and outer tie rod combination we need in order for this thing to work. So we're going to go ahead and do some more research, make sure everything is legit, so by the time I'm done I can have everything ready so that we can install it on the 240 and then go ahead and get that alignment and get that angle. Again, thanks for the support guys. If you like the video, hit the like button. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you already know what it is. Say it with me now. Hype is for the moment and style is forever. Deuces.